Hey guys, how are you? My name's Antonio Cobos, and I'm going to be talking about China's policy on disaster management. Okay, so to really understand this, you have to know that China had a socialist regime, and they were really stubborn to accepting any outside aid because there was like a stigma behind it that they needed to prove themselves that their political system worked, especially to the Western world. So anytime that there was a storm or flooding, they were like, nope, we are just fine. So that's really the history behind it. And now we could talk about their implementation style. China focuses on a bottom up implementation style to where they work with things at the state and local level. So if the fire breaks out, the ministry that the fire broke out in, they would handle that. And the only time that something would escalate is if the resources were exhausted and it was out of that local government's control, then it would be moved up to the next level of higher government. So in China, there's laws. Every single government, every single state government has to have some plan of action for dealing with local emergencies and hazards and disasters. And the main government has a giant plan to deal with every single thing that could occur, from natural disasters to man-made disasters like congestion and traffic to diseases and disasters that could affect the well-being of the population, and social security disasters, which would be like terrorist attacks and everything like that. So I would say that China has a really good plan of strategy in regards to that, especially given they have so many people to deal with. And I guess next we could talk about, let me see here, 1 second. The kinds of disasters that China is prone to. The biggest would be flooding. That is the most damaging disaster by far, economics wise. Next would be earthquakes. That kills the most people in China, and storms really affect a lot of people as well. The people that are participants in the disaster management, they were not really getting any participants until about the 1980s. Like I said before, with China being the socialist regime, they didn't want to take any outside help from any organizations. But in the 1980s, they finally signed a document, the UNDRO, which was a document with other different countries that stated that in the face of natural disasters, they could apply for outside help in dealing with those disasters. And that was definitely a good thing. And my last part that I wanted to cover is how disasters have shaped disaster management planning in the country today. And one example would be the SARS epidemic in 2003, which really brought transparency to the table when it came to putting that into policy, because it was a big deal. A lot of people ended up dying, and it led to a reform and a new policy where organizations had to be a lot more clear with the public in regards to what was going down. So overall, I think China is a good plan of action put in place, and they are on the right track. Thank you for watching my video. I appreciate it.